My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Geminis. I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot. For today, I'm going to be doing a general reading of past, present, future, 9 card spread. I'm going to be using the regular tarot deck, clarify with the vampire deck, draw a special vampire card, draw vampire oracle, and then draw 3 yes or no answers for thee. So let's get started on your reading. Okay, the general card is the 7 of Wands. Let's look at the first row, which is also your past. You get 7 of Swords. Interesting. King of Swords reversed. Ace of Pentacles. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, the thing is, it's like, I wonder if there was a bit of a deceptive offering that took place in your past, my beloved Geminis. Or maybe, it's like you put a lot of strategy and some kind of, like planning and something, but though, it's like you were incredibly also kind of like, your head was kind of in the clouds. It was kind of a bit unrealistic of some kind, but you did get some kind of financial offering or some kind of new beginning in the past. Yeah, it's like, it's interesting because, normally with the 7 of Swords, this is kind of like a deceptive individual saying, well, as long as I got mine, I'm okay with it. I'm just going to run off with these swords and nobody's going to stop me. But the thing is, it's like any kind of deception, any kind of like, any kind of deception. The thing is, it's like, it does eventually backfire in many ways. It's like, okay, hypothetically, if, the vampire, deceived me into thinking that he was my true love and stuff like that. And then later on, he just turns me into a vampire, runs off. Maybe if we eventually meet face to face, it might have end up, turning into one, negative experience for him. But any kind of deception, it's like, especially, when you're, when your strategy is kind of a bit off or something, but yeah, you are being presented with something. We're going to have to look into that. I'm not saying anything negative, but this could also be, a really good strategy. It's because, what do con artists normally do to get their victims? Not saying you are one, but in any way, or maybe you could have been deceived as of, in some way where, some other person, probably also kind of gave you, like this false idea of thinking, oh yeah, I love you, or I want to partner with you, or I want to, welcome you to, my team of this job and stuff like that. And then later on, it's like it just didn't work out. Well, in either way, it's like the thing is what, what do con artists do? They know how to strategize. They know how to play the victim. And in this situation, I just wonder if this Ace of Pentacles, I'm going to have to do some clarification, but I want to make sure that this was not anything negative in any way. Hopefully it was just a really good strategy. But that's why we're going to look at current times. You get the Hermit reversed, Virgo energy. Tower reversed, okay. And 9 of Pentacles. Interesting. Something is kind of breaking down. You're kind of going through some kind of transition, my beloved Gemini, because the Hermit reverse is wanting to take action. It's like saying, I'm going to put time and effort in, wanting to embark on this course, whatever voyage, quest, whatever it may be. But something had to break down so you could have new beginnings of 9 of Pentacles. Wow. Okay. I'm not quite clear, in the sense of what's taking place, because that's why I still want to clarify everything this. But, whatever, if you actually have this motivation and drive within you to want to actually take action about something, and, the Tower reverse is pretty much just saying, okay, we have to kind of let go of something. That's kind of also about letting go or having some kind of rebirthing moment. Out with the old and in with the new. I see abundance for my beloved Geminis, man, woman, whoever's watching. But let's keep going because I want to know more about what's happening, because in the future you get 5 of Wands reversed. It's kind of like forgiving some kind of conflict of some kind. 10 of Swords reversed, healing from some kind of negative ending. And King of Wands, confidence, strength, and courage. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, the thing is, I'm kind of more or less kind of getting this clear mind now of thinking, there was something, like, well, you actually got into some kind of like, a job offering of some kind, but yeah, you kind of maybe had to like, let a few things go, or maybe you had to have, a bit of a personal transition of some kind, because this is about, forgiving any kind of, like, the Tower reverse kind of situation, because it's probably taking place right now, the transition, and this is you kind of thinking, okay, the future, everything is going to work out for me because I'm actually healing from this Tower reverse situation, but I'm stronger than ever. Wow. Wow. I'm impressed. I'm impressed by this reading so far. But that's why I want to clarify everything. Seven of Swords. Happy home, happy hearth, happy family with the Four of Wands. Okay, I'm not allowed to show this card, but I'm going to hold this like so. What I see here is, this was actually an active strategy. You wanted to actually, you will build your confidence of some kind. And that's why that phrase, fake it till you make it. Now, this could be you actually kind of growing into this confidence situation of the Four of Wands. But it's also about actually saying, I want to have a happy home, happy hearth, happy family, but how do I go about it? And that's what I actually saw you doing, is you already kind of started strategizing, analyzing, and using, your creative, sword situation or your sword, and just kind of, just saying, okay, how am I going to get what I want? How am I going to get this desired result of whatever it was, and was in the past, especially because this took place in the past. But with the King of Swords reversed, Queen of Wands. Okay, you get the Queen of Wands in the past, and you get the King of Wands in the... Okay, so the thing is, it's like, I saw that, that sometimes, you kind of have to go through a bit of like some misty roads. I'm not saying it's anything bad, but sometimes it could be a bit misty. But your strong senses of your courage, your strength, your determination pretty much kept going because, you were heading towards this opportunity. So you had this intense, groundedness, even though you are an air sign, and this is even, a fire card and stuff like that. What I see is that you were incredibly still determined, and you were incredibly courageous about heading towards, this new beginning of whatever it was. Because, if you wanted to already have the happy home, happy hearth, happy family, okay, well, what do a lot of humans need to have are resources, jobs, means, finances, and stuff like that. So that's what you're already working towards. And this is, your strength, pretty much the same. We need to keep going and head towards that opportunity. Wow. Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Knives. You were incredibly determined. You put time and effort into this career. Well done, my beloved Geminis, man or woman, whoever it was. And that's why, you're incredibly motivated and determined with the Hermit reversed after this to want to actually, get the Nine of Pentacles, stuff like that. Wow, admirable city for my beloved Geminis, man, woman, whoever's watching, but that's what I like to see. This, this is another one of your beautiful cards, my beloved Geminis. It is putting time and effort. It's not like the Ace of Wands, which is time and energy. But this is actually applying everything just to get this beautiful new financial opportunity. Wow. Congratulations. Hermit reversed. Two of Grails. Now this could be you and your spouse and or girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever it may be, but I see you incredibly motivated because, if you want to have that happy home, happy hearth, happy family, or you want to have companionship, but this is also about self-love as well. The Two of Cups, it's also about taking good care of yourself and thinking, okay, I'm finally incredibly motivated. I get this job offering, or you're still in the process of getting it, but motivation is also key to success. And this is the Two of Cups. You can have Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio somewhere in your star chart. But either way, this is also about doing a lot of self-love, self-care, nurturing, and saying, I want to have this Nine of Pentacles. But I also need to give myself a lot of self-love too, because this is incredibly important. Self-love, self-importance, or, self-care is really crucial to anything. Like eating well and adapting to healthy habits in many ways. The Tower reversed, you get the Hermit. Okay, so this is actually the second Hermit, but this one came upright. So what I kind of see here is you're doing a bit of, self-reflection, because maybe you kind of have to let go of some habits. Maybe you have to kind of do a bit of a transition. I think I gave the transition card, or not really, transition talk, to either Aries or Taurus. You can have Aries, Taurus somewhere in your star chart, or you could even be with an Aries or Taurus. But what I kind of see here is, you're pretty much doing a bit of introspection because, something has to break down. Well, the thing is, it's like it's really good to kind of do a bit of introspection, kind of going within, sometimes just, thinking, okay, how am I going to get through this? Because this is already a lot of self-love and self-care. This could even be from your spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever it may be. But it's also important, when you're about to go through a transition, is that you also do a lot of introspection, self-love, self-care, and all kinds of anything just to kind of help you, process this whole incident, that'll probably take place in current times. Can't say when or how, but it's also in the center of the entire read. So, Nine of Pentacles, the Fool. Okay, You know, you get abundance and stuff like that, but you're more or less just kind of embarking on this 50-50 chance heading out towards the Five of Wands reversed. Okay. So what I'm seeing here is, you know, it's like, okay, something is breaking down, but I just don't really see you actually being, you know, or, you know, doing the, you know, the 50-50 chance, you know, of taking a leap of faith to get the Nine of Pentacles. Well, the Nine of Pentacles is motivating you to want to take the leap of faith of actually heading towards the Five of Wands of recovering from, you know, the whole Tower incident that's taking place, of whatever kind of transition, forgiveness, any kind of change in that sort of thing. Because the Five of Wands is also about self-forgiveness as well. And that's what you also have to do is, you know, it's like life has no handbook. You know, well, not everybody's going to be giving you this manual, you know, when you're born or however, and say, okay, this is going to be your life book. You're going to end up, you know, in a negative situation or in a positive situation, and there's nothing that's going to change that. That's not how life works. So, you know, it's like, but it's important if you have any kind of like transgressions of some kind. I haven't pulled that card yet, but I wonder if it might happen, to do a lot of self-love, self-care, and self-acceptance. For the Five of Wands reversed, Lord of Scepters, King of Wands. Okay, you're doing a lot of self-forgiveness with so much courage, strength, and passion within you. And then the third card in the future is the first King of Wands, so you already have so much fire. You could have Leo somewhere in your star chart. You could be dealing with a Leo. You know, you could be, you know, you could have Virgo. You know, you could have Earth. But either way, what I see here is, you know, you're doing a lot of self-love, self-forgiveness, or any kind of forgiveness of some kind, but that's also helping you grow into this very strong, courageous, passionate, determined, fiery individual. Even though, you know, you are an air sign, you know, you could have, you know, many, you know, fire aspects of Aries, Leo, Sagittarius somewhere in your star chart, but that's what I see for my beloved Geminis, is, you know, there's a lot of, you know, self-love, self-forgiveness, and that's also kind of building your courage and your strength to want to keep moving forward, because with the Ten of Swords reversed, like I mentioned, Aries, you could definitely have Aries. You're going to be in a very strong position because you're recovering from whatever that Tower, reverse situation is, you know, is all about. So I see so much strength, recovering, courage. I mean, I'm just so excited about King of Wands because you get the Ace of Cups. So you're heading towards this beautiful new beginning, strength, courage. You know, it's like you already had this job opportunity. Maybe you're going to be getting more abundance with the second King of Wands, but I see you recovering and you're stronger than ever, my beloved Gemini, whoever is watching, and that's what I like to see. So much strength and courage within you, healing, recovering, you know, abundance, you know, and you're taking a leap of faith, and that leap of faith is also going to be heading towards more courage, confidence, and new beginnings, abundance, love, support, acknowledgement, but that's what I see for my beloved Geminis. Wow. Whatever, will took place in the past was already a great start. And of course, it's like everything, will goes up with waves, up and down. One minute you feel like you're on top of the world, then next you feel like you're dealing with all kinds of negativity. But then, everything just goes back up again. So that's, everything is now heading more upward. Wow, I'm so honored and blessed to give you this beautiful reading. So let's see what your special vampire card has. High Priestess, the Book of Upper Knowledge, intuition. Wow, this is what I like to see, is your senses, your knowledge, your intuition, everything about what you're going through is more or less also helping you. You will progress, or actually more or less you'll process, but also progress towards a wonderful, stronger, and confident Gemini. And this is your experience, guide, intuition, your senses is pretty much just saying, okay, I'm going to help guide you through it all. And it's also an act of self-love with the Two of Cups as well. Do a lot of self-love, self-care, self-nurturing, everything that it takes just to heal yourself, to nourish yourself, to do, to take excellent care, to rest up, adapt to healthy habits. But whatever it is this, beautiful card of experience, your guide, your love, your support is, came out for a reason to say that. Please, keep up the determination, this analytical, this strategy on confidence, because that's what the Four of Wands is also about. Happy home, happy hearth, happy family within your own body as your temple. And that's what the High Priestess also wants to remind you, is to say, it's like we live by experience, but everything is just going to work out for you no matter what. Here, what does Oracle have for my beautiful Geminis? Eternal youth. Okay. Energy, newness, and vitality. Okay, I see this beautiful energy flowing through you, just like fire is like energy, passion is like energy. What I see is there's just so much energy flowing through you, this newness, because you're going through a bit of a transition of whatever it may be, and vitality, the strength, courage, determination within you on actually, just everything is, you're just going to have so much abundance, new beginnings, new love, acknowledgement, support. But whatever it is, the most important individual who always, will be supporting is you and you alone. Nobody else can always be there 100% for you, but as long as you take excellent good care of yourself, you do a lot of self-love, self-care with the Two of Cups, then you'll succeed no matter what, because it's important to always know that you should always trust yourself and count on yourself no matter what. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to finish off with 3 yes or no answers, but please feel free to pause this video. Think about the questions you want answered. For number 1, you do get a no with strength reversed. A yes with the 2 of Wands. And a yes with the Hanged Man. Okay. Well, my beautiful, amazing Geminis, I'm going to have to leave it at this, but if this reading resonated, please feel free to join and subscribe to my channel. I want to thank you guys incredibly so much for joining me and subscribing me towards the future of my channel. I love you guys incredibly so much. I see so much courage within you. So whatever, you're embarking on. The thing is about transition is it's painful, when you're actually facing it. And it's actually, well, maybe the process can sometimes also be a bit on the uneasy feeling, where you think, oh goodness, how will I get out of this situation? Any kind of, Tower reverse when something has to break down or where you have to try to patch things up. It always takes a lot of time and effort and energy. However, well, after, any kind of transition, hopefully it is for the best and stuff like that. I mean, being a vampire, transitioning, that was incredibly painful, so that's why I vowed to never do that to anybody. I would never want to break anybody's heart or cause any problems, and no matter what. But any kind of transition, you have to do a lot of self-love, self-care, and just say everything is going to work out no matter what. Sometimes you need to have patience, sometimes you just need to heal from anything. And the thing about healing or even mourning for that situation is there's no time frame for healing, because sometimes it depends on the damage a Tower reverse could do to you and stuff like that. But take all the time you need to kind of process it, and and eventually, if you do a lot of self-love and stuff like that, then, the healing, will take place no matter what, and it'll actually be quicker than you expect, and that's why you do get the Ace of Cups in the end. Of also, nourishment, healing, because, humans need water for healing and stuff like that. But that's what I kind of wanted to finish off with. But again, thank you so much for joining me on this channel. I love you guys so much. In a few days, I'm going to go back to love rings. I'm going to go back and forth between general love for now. But I just love you guys incredibly.